Okay, so today we will look at uh, the if statements, conditional statements in Python. Okay, we have looked at all of the basic data structures. Okay, list, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, now we will work with if statements, conditional statements in Python. Okay, it is very simple. Okay, you basically have a condition, and on the basis of that condition, okay, you decide to choose either option 1 or option 2. Okay, suppose you have two options, option 1 and option 2. Okay, so if you have two options and on the basis of some condition, okay, you want to decide, okay, you want to decide to choose. Okay, if you want to choose, either you should go with option 1 or option 2. Okay, you can use, okay, conditional statement or if statement, or you might have more than two options or more than three options. Suppose you have one more option. Okay, option 3. Okay, you want to choose one of these three options. Okay, in that case, okay, you can use conditional statement. So basically you have multiple options and you have to choose any one of those options. So it is either this or that or something else. Okay, so if else. Now we will work with our first if statement. So what I'll do is I'll create two variables here, x equals to 10. Okay, so I'm naming the first variable, okay, to be x, and uh, assigning, okay, value of 10, and then the second variable y, okay, and I'll assign it a value of 20. Okay, run this cell. Now we have, okay, these two variables, okay, ready. Now I want to check if the value of x is actually greater than the value of y. So if here, if x is greater than y, okay, and colon, okay, we always use colon in Python, okay, to create a block. Now we would have to make sure that the indentation is proper. Okay, so uh, if you want to execute a statement or a group of statements, okay, for this clause, okay, there has to be a proper indentation. So hit enter, and by default there is indentation. Okay, this indentation, okay, this is important. So here this space, okay, which you see, this has to be given here, otherwise it will give an error. Okay, so now I'll give in what has to happen. Okay, you can write a statement, okay, to specify what should happen or if it is true. So if x is greater than y, then I want to print out, print x is greater than y. X is greater than y. Okay, now let's see what happens. Run this cell. Okay, so no output. Okay, so this condition has evaluated to false. That means x is not greater than y. In other words, 10 is not greater than 20. The value of x is 10, y is 20, and hence the statement is not printed. Now I'll check the opposite. Okay, so to check the opposite, let's add one more cell here. If y is greater than x, and then print y is greater than x. Okay, run this cell and see. So you see that this condition has been evaluated to true. X, y greater than x is true, and whatever follows condition after this condition, okay, has been printed. So this is how the if statement works. So now I actually want to print something even if the condition is evaluated to false. Currently we are actually printing only if the condition is true. Okay, we are not doing anything if the condition is false. So now I actually want to print something even if the condition is evaluated to false. So this when I can use the else clause. So here we can use the else clause here, else use colon again to create a new block, okay, for this clause, else clause. And here we can say copy this and print x is not greater than y. Okay, so if x greater than y evaluates to true, then print x is greater than y. If it evaluates to false, then and else, okay, it will print x is not greater than y. Run this cell and see x is not greater than y. Okay, so we see that, okay, we get this result, x is not greater than y. So this is how we can work with, okay, if else clause. Now we also have something known as else if. Okay, actually in Python we have elif. So if we have multiple conditions to check, that is when we can use elif. So in Python it is known as elif. So let's work with that as well. Now let's say we have three numbers here. Okay, so we have x equals to 10, y equals to 20, and z equals to 30. Okay, run this cell. Now we have three variables. Now I want to check which is the greatest number out of these three. So I'll give the first condition, and first condition here is if first condition is if x is greater than y and this is a logical end, x is greater than z. Okay, then we can say x is the greatest number. Okay, x is the greatest number. Now we want to check uh, if y is the greatest. So here we can use elif, because now we have three conditions. Okay, we have to use three conditions. Elif. Okay, in elif we can write condition here. If y is greater than x and y is greater than z. Okay, if y is greater than both x and z, okay, then we can print here y is the greatest number. Okay, else third condition, if this condition evaluates to false, if this condition also evaluates to false, if x is not the greatest number, y is not the greatest number, then we can say z is the greatest number. Okay, now run this cell. So let's see what do we get here. Z is the greatest number. Okay, so output is z is the greatest number because the value of z is 30. Okay, so here first condition is what? X is greater than Y. Okay, it means 10 greater than 20. So it evaluates to false, and 10 is greater than 30. The value of Z is 30. 10 greater than 30. Okay, this condition or this expression evaluates to false. False and false. Logical operator AND. So false and false gives what? False. So this statement will not execute. Elif. Okay, so it will come to this next block. It will check the next condition. If y, the value of y is 20, if 20 is greater than 10, value of x, yes, true. And if 20 is greater than 30, 30 the value of z. So 20 greater than 10, it is true, and 20 greater than 30, it is false. So true and false will give you, it will evaluate to false. So this statement will be skipped, and in else block then it will execute. So this is how actually it is working, right? So the result is Z is the greatest number. Now we will see how we can use, okay, these conditional statements with tuple, a list, and dictionary. So I'll create a tuple here. Okay, create tuple. So X, to create tuple, okay, use parenthesis and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements. Okay, run this cell. So we have created this new tuple. Now I want to check, okay, if an element is present inside this tuple X. So here if if 3 n x, if 3, actually we are checking if this element is present, okay, inside this tuple. If 3 is present in x, okay, so it will result to true, and then we can print, okay, we can print something here. So print 3 is present in the tuple. Okay, now run this cell. Let's see what we get. So 3 is present in the tuple, okay, because 3 is here in this tuple. Now let's check if 9 is present in this tuple. So if we change it to 9, if 9 in x, print 9 is present in the tuple. Run this cell. There is no output. It means this condition 9 in x, okay, evaluated to what? It resulted in false. And if this is not true, in that case, okay, we can write here else print 9 is not present in the tuple. Okay, run this cell and see 9 is not present in the tuple. So this is how you can use conditional statement, okay, if else, okay, with a tuple. Now similarly, okay, we will work with the if statement with a list. Now I'll create a list here. Okay, to create a list, okay, we can use square braces. So let's change parentheses to square brackets. Okay, now X is what? A list. So now we have this list here. Okay, we can print this list out, X, and see now we have this list. Okay, so I want to check if the value which is present at index 1, so value at index 1 is 2. Okay, so we want to check if the value which is present at index number 1 is equal to 2, and if it is actually equal to 2, then I want to add 100 more to it. So here we can write x of if x of 1 is equal to 2. So the condition is if this list x of 1 means 1 index, so currently it has 2 at 1 index. If the value is 2, if it is true, then x of 1 equal to, now actually add more, okay, to add 100 more to it. So x of 1 plus 100. Okay, so we are adding 100 more to the current value of current value at index 1, okay, position 2, okay, conditionally if it is 2. Run this cell and let's print x, and it is now, initially it was 2, okay, but now it is 102. It means 100 added, okay, to this. Actually here this condition evaluated to true. Okay, so this condition says what? If x of 1, it means value at one index which is 2, if it is equal to true, yes, true, it is 2, okay, then add the current value, add 100 to the current value at that index which is 2. So it will become what? It will become 102, and 102 will be stored in the same index, same position. Okay, and now we are getting 102. So this is the value, okay, which is present at index number 1, okay, which is now 102. So we were able to successfully update this value conditionally, right? Now uh, let's modify this to, if suppose we want to do something, okay, here at index 4. So if x of 4 is 10, which will evaluate to false because x of 4 is 5. Okay, run this cell again actually, okay, to create this new list, and if you print this, okay, it is now 1 2 3 4 5. So x of 4, it means fifth position, so this is index 0 1 2 3 4, okay, it is 5, and we are checking if x of 4 is equal to 10. If it is equal to 10, then x of 4 is equal to x of 4 plus 100, okay, add 100 more to it. Else if it is false, else x of 4 equal to x of 4, okay, add 500 more to it. Okay, so we are adding, we have two options, okay, we are adding either 100 or 500, okay, based on what? Based on if the value is 10, then add 100. If the value equal to 10 is evaluated to false, okay, if it is false, then add 500, right? So run this cell and now print out x and see, now the value is 505, okay, initially it was 5, so it means this statement executed, okay, because this resulted to evaluated to false. Okay, so condition is if x of 4 is 10, which evaluated to false, so this statement executed, okay, which added what? 500, okay, to the value of current value of this x4. Correct? So it is now 505. Now we will use if with a dictionary. Okay, so we always create a dictionary with curly braces. Let's add some elements to it. And first element, first key value pair, key is A and value is 10. Second key is B, value is 20. Next key is C and value is 30. And D, value is 40. Okay, run this cell. So it will create a dictionary. Okay, print out X and C. Now this is dictionary. Okay, A 10, A value is 10, B value is 20, C value is 30, and D value is 40. Okay, so now we have this dictionary here. Now I want to check if the value of the key B, okay, this is key B, is equal to 20. Now we want to check if the value of key B is 20. And if it is equal to 20, then I want to add 100 more to it. Okay, so here we can use x of, dictionary name is x. So we can write here x of B is equal to 20. Okay, if it is 20, let's remove else clause. If it is 20, then x of B equals to x of B, okay, plus 100. So we are adding 100 to the current value of x of B if the current value of x of B is 20. Run this cell. Now let's print out the dictionary and see. Now the value of B is 120. So 100 added to the initial value of B. Initial value was 20. 100 added to it and now its value is 120. Okay, so we added this 100. Okay, based on this condition, if the value is 20, then add 100 to its current value. Okay, now we will so we are done with actually conditional statements. Okay, now we know how to use if, elif, and else. Okay, so we are done with the conditional statements. Now we will go ahead, okay, to the looping statements. Okay, while and for and Python. So looping statements are used to repeat a task multiple times. Okay, so there are many a times where we would want to repeat a certain task. That is where we would require looping statements. Okay, so while loop, we will start by using the while loop. So the syntax is the syntax of while loop is while condition colon and then execute statements. Okay, while this syntax, then a condition expression, then colon, and then you can write statements here. So here first we enter the while loop. Okay, this is the while loop. Okay, and then we check the condition. Okay, this condition. So if the condition is evaluated to true, then we execute whatever is present here inside the body of the while loop, and we go back to the loop again. Okay, after executing, okay, this body, okay, we go back to the while loop again, and we will check if the loop condition, this condition, okay, evaluates to true again. If it evaluates to true again, if it is true again, then we will execute, okay, this body, and then we will go back to the while loop again. Okay, so this is how it works actually. So this process actually repeats until, okay, this condition evaluates to false, and once the condition is evaluated to false, okay, we will exit the while loop. So this is how the while loop works. Okay, now I want to print the first 10 numbers, okay, using the while loop. So let's declare, add one cell here and declare I, a variable I equal to initial value is 1. Okay, run this cell. So we have created one variable. Okay, now use while loop. So syntax is while condition. Okay, use while, and condition is variable is I is less than or equal to 10, then colon. Okay, so this syntax is this colon, then colon, and print I, print value of I, and in next statement increment the value of I. Don't forget, okay, to increment the value of I, otherwise, okay, this loop will become, okay, never ending. Okay, if you forget to increment the value of I. So I equal to I plus 1. Okay, in this statement we are increasing. So we are actually doing two things. In this statement, there are two statements, okay, in the body of this loop. So in first statement we are printing the value of I. In next statement we are incrementing the value of I. Okay, run this cell and see. So we are printing here, we are printing first 10 numbers. Okay, so this is uh, how we are able to print the first 10 numbers, okay, using while loop. Okay, so similarly I want to print out the table of 2, okay, using the while loop. So to print a table of 2, okay, let's add one more cell here and create one more variable n equal to 2. Okay, we want to print table of 2. Okay, run both the cells. Run this cell because now the value of I is uh, 11. Okay, because this loop completed. Okay, so to reset its value, run this cell again, run next cell. Okay, and here, okay, to print table of 2, what you can do is here and print, you can write n, the value of n, okay, and comma, now concat add one string. Okay, here let's show star operator. Okay, n into I, value of I, and then one more string. So here uh, after I, show equal to, and then show n into I. Okay, I'll show you how to actually print this string using format also. Okay, so if you use format, then actually it becomes uh, simple. Okay, so let's run this and see. It printed what? Table of 2. Okay, 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 2 into 3 is 6. Okay, and you can print this, okay, using format also. So if you want to print this using format method, okay, the format method inserts variables dynamically into a string template, okay, using curly braces as placeholders. Okay, and we discussed this in an earlier session also. So here if you want to print the same output, okay, what you can do is you can display value of n, then a star, value of I means second placeholder, this is 0th placeholder, this is first placeholder, okay, and equal to now this is second index, okay, first placeholder index 0, second placeholder index 1, and third placeholder index 2, okay, dot format. Now supply values, okay, for these placeholders. So in first placeholder, okay, we want to display what? We want to display value of n, okay, which is always 2, always 2. And in second placeholder here, okay, we want to display what? Value of I, right? So value of I. And here in this position, okay, we want to display what? The cross of n and I, okay, n into I, so n star I. Now see, this is very simple statement, okay, so constructing statement, okay, using commas, okay, is not required now, okay, you can use placeholders, and then you can use format and pass values for placeholders. Run this cell, okay, because the current value of I is actually 11, so reset this cell also, although resetting this is not required. Run this cell, and now see, we are getting the same output, but now we are getting this output using format method, okay. We are using 3 placeholders, 3 indexes 0, 1 and 2, and we are passing values for these 3 placeholders n, I and n into I, okay. Now we will see how we can use the while loop with a list, okay. Suppose so if I want to print out all the elements of a list, if I want to update all the elements in a list, okay, using the while loop, so let's create a list, create list here, okay, x equals to, and to create a list use square brackets 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, okay. Run this cell, so we have created this list, and set I to 0. Run this cell, okay, we have created one variable, and to print out all the elements of this list, okay, you can use here, let's delete this, here you can use I is less than length of x, the list, okay, and here print x of I, okay, and then increment I by 1, okay. So here the condition is if the current value of I is less than length of x, the length of x is what? The length of x is 5. See, there are 5 elements, okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So the length of x is 5, okay. You can check this also programmatically, okay. Add one cell here and check len of x. Run this cell, it is 5, so length of x is 5, so this len of x, okay, will give 5. Initial value of I is 0, okay, so I is 0, 0 less than 5, so 0 less than 5 is true, okay. So body will execute, it will print x of I, so x of I, initially the value of I is 0, so it will print what? It will print 10, and then next statement will increment value of I by 1, okay, it will become 1. Then it will check if 1 is less than length of x is 5. If 1 is less than 5, then it will print, now value of x is 1, so it will print x of 1, which is 20, so it will print 20, okay, and so on, okay. So this loop will end when the value of I will be what? Will be 5. 5 less than 5, okay, this condition will evaluate to false and this loop will end. Okay, run this cell and see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 elements of this list. Okay, so uh, if you want to update, suppose we want to update, okay, the value of this list. Okay, so we can use the same condition here and we can write here x of I equal to x of I. We want to increment, we want to actually modify all the elements, okay, of this list. So if you have requirement to modify, to change all the elements, so here we are changing it to, we are adding, we are adding, okay, 100 more, okay, 100 to every element. Okay, and then increment I. So reset this cell first, okay, because now the value of I is 5, okay, after this loop is finished. So run this cell and run this cell now, and then add one more cell and print x, print out x, and see 100 added to every element of this list. Okay, so for initially the first element was 10, now it is 110, it was 20 initially, now it is 120, okay, and last element was 50 and now it is 150. So 100 added to every element, okay, in this list, right? So this is how you can modify, okay, all the elements in a list. So we are done, okay, with while loop. So now it is time to work with the for loop. So for loop is used to iterate over a sequence, and sequence is basically your data structures. Okay, your list, dictionary, tuple. Okay, and the syntax of for loop is for val and sequence colon and then execute statements. Execute statements. Okay, this is syntax for val any variable and your sequence. Okay, then execute statement. So this is syntax of for loop. So let's create a list. Okay, let's create a new list here. Fruits equal to, okay, so first element is orange, next element is apple, and next element is pear, next is banana, next element is kiwi, apple, and banana. Okay, so run this cell. So we have created this list. Now print out fruits. Okay, so we have this list. Delete this cell and here. Okay, now with the help of the for loop, I want to iterate over this list. Okay, so and I want to print all the elements of this list. Okay, so for syntax is this for val in sequence. So for x and sequence name is fruits. Okay, print x. For x in fruits, print x. So run this cell and see orange, apple, pear, banana, kiwi, apple, banana. Okay, so this for loop, okay, iterated over this list. So it actually what it does is actually it takes all the elements one by one in X. Okay, so in first iteration, okay, it will take orange in X, it will print X, and then it will return the next element apple. Okay, it will place next element apple in X, it will print apple, and then it will place next element pear in X, and so on. Okay, until this list ends. Okay, it finishes. Okay, now we will discuss nested for loops. So suppose we have two two lists, x equal to first list we have red, second we have blue, second element is blue, and third element is green. Create one more list, y equals to first element is book, next element pen, and one more element chair. Okay, run this cell. We have created two lists. I want to iterate over list x and list y using nested for loops, and print. I want to print, if we use this x in outer loop and y in inner loop, okay, so it will print what? So outer loop will place this red in the variable in this well, and then inner loop, okay, this y, okay, this red will be used for with all the elements of this. So I want to print red book, red pen, red chair, and then blue book, blue pen, blue chair, and so on. Right, so here we can use nested loops. So to use nested loops, what we can do is here for, now we are writing outer loop for a n first list x, and then colon for b n y. This is inner loop. Okay, and now print what? Let's use format first placeholder and second placeholder dot format, and now pass values, okay, for these placeholders, so a and b. Okay, run this cell and see. So in first loop, okay, this x placed first element red in a, and then inner loop y placed from y, actually it placed book from this list in b. So now b has book, a has red, so now it is running, it is showing, actually it is printing red book. Then this inner loop is placing next element pen in b, so it is printing red pen. Then inner loop is placing chair in b, so it is printing, okay, red chair. And then after it ends, okay, it move on to the, it jumps to the outer loop. Okay, then it jumps to the outer loop, and then this places what? It places next element blue in a, and then this inner loop actually, okay, iterate over all the elements of y, okay, and uses the current value of a, which is blue. So it will print blue book, blue pen, blue chair, and then green book, green pen, and green chair. Right? So this is how we can work with the for loop. Right? And next session, okay, we will cover functions in Python. That's all for today. Okay, you can ask if you have any questions. No, no questions? Okay. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today's session. Thank you.